Yeah. I just. I don't know what. Next week or you can change. Yeah. I know. I'm sure. I think.
All right. This is the regular city council meeting for August 19th, 2025, city of Manatee. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilmember Pritchard.
Present.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Present.
Councilmember Spears.
Present.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Present.
Councilmember Maxwell.
Here.
Also asked to be excused, already approved to be excused, Councilmember Herbold. That was at the August 5th meeting. And then asking for Ted Olson to be excused for tonight. He is on vacation.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So. Approval of the agenda. Was there an addition to the agenda? And I don't have a comment.
Yeah, move recommending addition of item 9C, be resolution 25-765. The bid award to Shamrock Paving.
Move to include. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Added. Can I accept the motion and to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda resolution 25-765 is added. Thank you. Opportunity then for interested citizen comment. I don't know if anyone has signed in. Anyone in the audience who would like to have a public comment, is your opportunity. There will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting for another 3 minutes. So if you hear something along the way that you'd like to make a comment, you'll have another chance. Last opportunity, anyone online want to comment? Okay, moving on. Announcements, proclamations, and special presentations. We do have one announcement to make. That is that Councilmember Kelly Schaefer has resigned. Her husband is in the military and has been given a new assignment. And so I want to thank you, Kelly, for your service to the city. Absolutely. Her knowledge in finance and just your wit and charm and all the things you bring to council and your dedication to the city. You jumped right in early on, started serving with Reimagine and started coming to council meetings, and you've just really been an important part of the community, and we appreciate you. So we'll miss you very much.
Thank you.
Anything that you'd like to say?
I just want to thank everyone. I've loved doing this for the past 2 years. You all are amazing to work with, and we all worked well together, and we all add things. And I think sometimes our difference of opinion is what's needed for us to move the city in the right direction. So I just want to thank you all and thank the citizens for allowing me to do this for the past 2 years.
Absolutely. We're glad you're there. Anything else, Mr. Weathers, on that topic under announcements? No. Okay. We'll move on to reports then. Public safety report. I see Chief Werbach is present. Welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be available to be here in
We're excited too.
mid-August. And I did some reflection over the last week. So we're just a couple days post anniversary of Gray. We're 1 day post Twist River event, which was the fatality fire in Central Washington from about 5 years ago. So just really that time of year where we see a lot of challenging fires. And so fortunately, things pretty slow given the indices and where conditions are at. A little timely rain has helped, and I think sprinkle in some luck as well. But hey, we will take it. So not where we're normally at in mid-August, but we see temps coming back up, so we're not out of it yet. And so I'll tell you at Christmas how things looked for the season. So we'll see what's going to happen in September, but we're thankful for what we've experienced thus far. So a lot of good suppression efforts kept most fires pretty small. We do not have July statistics yet for call in volume, and I think I reported out on June statistics. We're mid 70s for medical ag, so kind of the upper end of average, but not anything out of the ordinary. And a pretty significant portion of that month came from the campus, DSHS campus. Also, for about the close to 2 decades, Fire District 3 has had the same elected board of fire commissioners. It was really my bosses. I wanted to introduce our newest commissioner by appointment. Tim Flock, would you mind coming up? Commissioner Flock?
Welcome, Commissioner.
I know some of you. Thanks,
So,
Chief.
yeah, would you mind doing a quick introduction?
I believe in matching names and faces together, and that's really why I wanted to come out, just so that you know who I am, recognize me. I've been around the city quite a bit for the Fisherman's Breakfast, and as a firefighter, I was most recently a battalion chief for the district. And when I was appointed into this position, I had to resign because of a conflict with my job description. I'm still a firefighter for now, but time is short with a lot of demands and a lot of grandkids. So we'll see how long I'm going to be able to stay a firefighter. But this role here is really important to me, and that's really where I'm trying to focus my attention. I spent 28 years in the military, so I was definitely near and dear to my heart. That moved around a little bit. It was mostly Washington National Guard, but I got to do the in-flight refueling, so I flew over you guys plenty. I'm a firefighter now for 32 years, 15 of it with the district. So service is really a big part of my heart. I'm excited to get to represent our communities in this position as commissioner. So,
Well, congratulations on your appointment, and nice to meet you again. I know we've met before, but good to see you. And glad to see somebody appointed that cares so much about the community. So thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments? Well, thank you so much, Chief. Anything else that we need to know?
No, and kind of excited, in our business, not to have it makes me a little paranoid, I'll be honest, for August, because we're just coiled and ready to go at a moment's notice. And this is the quietest August I've seen in a few years, and maybe well deserved. So we'll take it.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Of course, we've been reflecting this week on the Gray Road fire, and I had a lot of community members reach out and showing pictures of what they came back to and what they are in now. Most of them back in their homes. So some people still rebuilding, and so it's just an emotional time of the year, but it makes me reflect too on what great partners we had, your tremendous response and leadership during that. And I still will be forever grateful for your leadership through that response. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it is good. We're seeing some of the same reports that folks getting back into their homes, and that's pretty exciting. We reminisced a little bit in public safety just on the events of that day. So it is the silver lining at this point, to see the recovery and see the resilience of the community and how folks are bouncing back. So that's rewarding.
Because of our incredible response and recovery, I attribute that to the response getting us started in the right direction, all the support along the way. Other counties now that are having wildfires, I've had 2-3 other counties now reach out to me just in the last couple of weeks saying, hey, can you show us how, lead us through this? And so anyway, thanks for your leadership. So
it's exciting to see those blessings, on the backside, and they're always there if you can find them. But the ability to pay that forward now to other communities, I'm sure, is greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I guess in closing, Councilmember Schaefer, thank you, Fire District 3. appreciate you and your service. We're gonna miss you.
Thank
So
you.
it's a great environment here and we appreciate your leadership.
Where's the PCS?
Cheyenne, Wyoming, FP Warren, but my husband is leaving being a boom. It's been a boom for 15 years. And now he's going to be flight engineer on Huey, so
Oh, the,
yeah.
what a
so-
change.
Yes, so, yay.
More change, right?
She's married now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been gone for like a year of training, so. It's gonna be a fun time.
Thank you for mission.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Well, thank him for
Yeah.
his service as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Have a great night.
You
Thanks,
too.
Chief.
And Commissioner Flock, I'll let you know that typically with our Tuesday training cycle, I depart. You are welcome to stay and do as you choose.
We're not gonna make you stay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to stick around. I learned quite a bit in the public safety portion of it. I have one of my roles in the district was the hydrant program, so we had a lot to talk about with that.
Yeah, we didn't even plan that and we had our resident expert come tonight, so it's perfect.
Now we know.
One perspective's different, I'm learning, as a firefighter, it's one thing. Now my perspective's different as a commissioner. It's sure things. I'm open to learning, and that's again, that communication thing, just making sure that people know who I am so they can reach out if there's other questions.
Okay.
I've sat at your desk already.
You can't hide now, so.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. No sheriff's report tonight. Okay, thank you. Committee and council comments and reports.
We had a geo walk with Steve Cooper, the wastewater treatment director, had about 20-30 people show up, pretty good group. Got a lot of garbage from the trees and collected some samples. Like every year, I would say do not drink the water, especially over by Pepper Park. There's a couple geese over there and the coliform was slightly higher. But on the positive, the nitrates and the phosphorus are super low, just ridiculously low, which is great. That means the aerators, the circulators are doing a good job. That's kind of what we're doing.
Nice.
The PFAS stayed the same. We did, as part of this, the PFAS project, not part of what I'm as a city council, but I'll share it because I was happy to see it. We've been testing Craig Road and our Glen Road wells for a year. Glen Road's always been super clean for the polyfluorinated alkaline substances. Craig Road has a very, very small amount, but when they mix together and come back up, at the water tower, when they came out of a tap, they were non-detect for PFAS, which is always nice. When you hear your wells got a little bit of the well report, but what's coming out of the tap was not the tap. So I think that's a good thing.
That is fun.
Yes, and on another last little water thing, just because I was talking to folks today at the county, APA should be up on the board, sort of aquifer protection areas might be developed, hopefully will be developed by August, voting for the West Plains alone. And the one for the Spokane Valley Ratchet Period is past 70%. Yes. I mean, that money goes to monitoring into the future, something that has never really happened in the West Plains. Except the last couple of years.
Been a lot of conversations about that, a lot of meetings and yeah, that will be coming on the ballot soon, but not
That's all.
too soon.
Throw it
I
out
don't
there.
think it'll make it for November, but probably
Next
next summer.
Next August.
Yeah, next August, I'm expecting. So, yeah, it's an important topic for sure. Thank you for all you do. It's really important and we appreciate you. Councilmember Schaefer.
Finance committee met tonight. We reviewed payroll claims and payable warrants. And then we also talked a little bit about the travel policy. And we'll kind of go over all the things that we talked about in the finance meeting, but everything looked good.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Councilmember Spears.
No report, Your Honor.
Okay, Councilmember Kennedy.
No report, Your Honor.
Councilmember Maxwell.
General government met tonight and kind of the main things that we talked about were the two big street projects are finishing up, are 99% done. All we need to do is hydro seed in October, so those are all looking good. The street maintenance crews are working on repairing the potholes in Fox Hollow, getting it ready to scrub seal. Painting is underway for the school crosswalks and the stop bars and stuff, and getting everything painted up for ready for the back to school. And we're working on computer upgrades to start in September. Let's see here. Oh, I'm off on that one, sorry. That's it.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. For my report, I don't have a lot. We've been really busy, as you can tell. I want to talk a little bit about the scrub seal and the purpose for that. And so, here's comments of why is there gravel on the road. So really, this was such an opportunity. It was paid for. We has the ability then to buys us about another 7 to 10 years to preserve the roads that we have. They were pretty badly cracked and in disrepair, and we are planning and putting together a plan for repaving, and how do we pay for that, and how do you have it in a system and in a plan where all of those streets are actually repaved and part of a program, a funded program. So we're doing a lot of, we have time now because we bought ourselves some time with the scrub seal, and appreciative to the county for making that available to us at such a great opportunity. So anyway, it's a stopgap, but it's a solid stopgap, and maybe you won't be able to ride your skateboards as much, but hopefully we can get you over into the school district or something for those who do those things. So just wanted to make that small announcement. Do want to say that the consumer confidence report is on the website. So in follow up to Councilmember Pritchard, that we test regularly for, of course, a myriad of things. Our Public Works Director, Scott Duncan, is here if you have any questions about that, but that is regularly reported and updated. We are within parameters on all of those tests, and there's no concerns, and now including PFAS, we know to be true. I think that's really all I'm going to report at this time. Mr. Weathers, what's on your mind? I know you have a list of things. I don't want to take Jillian's thunder there.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. The Sheriff's Office wasn't able to join us tonight, but I did want to provide an update on the conversation that we're having with them over cameras for public safety. We had a great meeting with them this past week, and what's going to be coming in the near future, just to give you fair warning, is we're talking about an MOU with the county where they can purchase the equipment and then provide us with the invoice, and we'll reimburse them for that equipment. They've extensively vetted and researched, and they know what works well with their real-time crime center. And so it's really kind of great, which ultimately our goal is to give them access to be able to solve and deter bad activities. And so that speaking with them about what works with their system, and they've put together a great presentation or suggested list of equipment to utilize. And so we're working on that. We know that based on the policy that you adopted for cameras, use of cameras, will be coming to you with the locations and the uses that we're proposing to get your approval. Based on that approval, we'll then move forward with acquiring that equipment. So MOU will come first, and then we'll talk to you about uses and locations, and then we'll move forward to implement those based on your approval. At the same time, though, I want to mention that kind of it's all in the same vein, but it's its own lane as the automatic license plate readers. And so we'll be bringing forward a proposal for where we can locate those to notice who's coming in and out of town. And if anyone is on a hot list, it would read that, highlight that, provide an alert, and the law enforcement would know. So, but that conversation's been great. We're really nearing the point of implementation, and we'll be bringing forward some more information that can get us to that MOU, get us to some approved uses and locations, and then we'll move towards implementation. Other than that, I just have some dates to share that's upcoming by the end of the month. Reminder, there's no planning commission meeting in August, and so don't come to that because you'll be by yourself and the building will be closed. The first day of school is coming up towards the end of the month, August 27th. It seems strange to be talking about back to school already, but I know the schools have been having some early orientations, introducing the new kiddos, and gearing up for school. So we're excited about that. Linger at the Lake, our last Linger at the Lake concert series of the season, is on August 28th. And it should be a great time. Justin Priest Band will be out there. If you haven't been to one yet, I think we've seen just about everybody out there, but definitely encourage you to join us for August 28th. The concert will start at 6:30. And that's all that I have to share, unless you have any questions for me.
All right, thank you, Sunny. Our code enforcement officer, Dave Uhas, is going to give us his second quarter code enforcement report. Appreciate all the work that you do. I was just talking at staff meeting this morning, which we do every Tuesday, that I had a citizen comment this weekend that said, wow, what happened to that property right there? Somebody's really made something happen. And I said, well, that's what happens when you get a code enforcement officer. And so anyway, I gave you all the kudos for that. And I knew that property. I knew you've been working on it. And I wanted to let council know that that work is not going unnoticed. So anyway, looking forward to hearing your report tonight.
How do I get it to go back to the beginning? Good evening, Mayor and Council. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to control it with this. I normally new to PowerPoint. Usually stupid present, but anyway. Yeah, good evening. Nice to see you all. I will not bore you with the almost 20 slide presentation I did at Planning Commission. That was long. It was a long process. I was asked to do a presentation on the process, how the process starts, goes all the way to conclusion. And it was it's amazing. They had a great time. There you go. So get down to it. Currently, at the end of the day on June 30th, I was at 104 cases. It has been a busy year. Last year, I closed 2024 with only 101 cases. So I'm currently at about 124 cases as of today, but at the end of the quarter, 104. So where's the production coming from? Why is there a huge uptick in my cases? That is going to come from the next one over, where you see the percentage of vehicle cases that I've initiated has increased significantly. I came up with a program on basically costs allowed me to buy the same stickers that the sheriff's office uses prior to towing a vehicle. I use that. I created a violation letter based upon our code and some other RCWs. And when I see vehicles that have been sitting, and as Lisa put it, being reclaimed by the earth, I attempt to put a sticker on it and have the people reach out to me. But it's a standard violation, and it holds the same weight as all my other violation letters. So that starts a different process, and it's been new, but I've seen a lot of things happen with it, which is great. And now with Scrub Seal coming, we may have to get out there. So tomorrow I'll be fully suited and booted in the morning, and I'll be going up to a few areas where I had some residents contact me about cars just sitting there with broken windows, blocking mailboxes, things like that. So I don't have the same enforcement power as a deputy that can tow a car within 24 hours. I have helped them and started the process of getting vehicles towed for some of the pavement work, and they were great. They showed up, and I said, I got to get this car gone by tomorrow at 10 a.m. and it was 9 a.m. here. They went out there with me, and we got it, and it was towed the next day. So they've been great about that. Outside of that, small uptick in animal related cases, which I can't really help too much with, but I do track them because I'd like to know. Recently there was a dog attack in town, and so everyone's saying, hey, please report that to Scraps. Scraps is having its growing pains right now. I don't know if they've elected their new director yet, so I haven't talked to the patrol supervisor in a while. He's probably busy with other things. Property cases are about where they normally are. They're the majority of what I do. And at the quarter, I had 26% of my cases were still open, 17% were on watch, and 7% were closed. That varies throughout the week. I could have someone call me and I could close a case here or there. So it's just been a busy year. I got a lot going on. I decided to throw that vehicle thing on me. I like the way it's going. I think there are a few things I could do differently. So I'm learning from the process, but it's good. So if you see a red tag on a vehicle, it's most likely mine. So that's, if it's your neighbor, just say, hey, give Dave a call because we can, probably help you resolve it. Because last thing I want to do is tow vehicles at the owner's expense, although ultimately that is what I'm hoping it does lead to. I hate to say that, but being realistic, there are vehicles in town that have been sitting in the public right of way for a significant number of years, not months, years. And so they need to be dealt with. And so this is taking that initial step to make contact with them and say, all right, we're going to start the timer. Let's figure out what we can do. That being said, I'd like to help people if they don't know a way to get rid of a junk vehicle. I can maybe assist them with getting Spalding to come down and tow it or whatever it may be. So like for community, I want to help people out. I'm not there to jam people up, but there's a point when, that red line over there on the far left one, civil infraction happens. I turned one in last week and I just turned another civil infraction into court today. Unfortunately, cases do get to that and I have to take it to the next step. So that's just how it goes. Let's see if I can click it anymore. Moving forward, so I'm going to be coordinating with the prosecutor's office to resolve as many of my active cases right now before we transition over to Airway Heights. And the reason for that is I want to make that a clean transition. And I have some new information when I went to court today. I need to talk to you about that tomorrow. So we'll bring that up. I'm going to keep trying to adjust and massage that vehicle process until it works better for our citizens. It's a growing pain. I'm still learning what I'm doing with it, but so far it's shown that it's effective in some ways. And just trying to explore new ways to communicate, to get with citizens and find out how to relay what we're trying to do with this code enforcement process. So sometimes I get people that call me and they are not very happy until I say, can you hold on a second? And I press a button and it says, this call is now being recorded. Their tone changes significantly when it happens, but I use all of those recordings for my case file. So if it goes to court, I do have evidence of conversations I have with people. And it's funny how much their attitude changes when I record the call. And yeah, that's all I have for you tonight. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for your diligence. It's making a difference. We appreciate your work and your continued efforts in trying to perfect your process, and appreciate your passion about that.
As you know, it's painfully slow, and that's been one of the hardest things for me to deal with. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and the
And I
property,
would never put Dave and slow with the same.
the process is slow, but you saying that property looked a lot better, and I'm like, nope, not good enough. Nope, I'm not closing that case.
So no, it's getting
That's
there.
what it is.
So yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Workshop discussions then. We have our draft 2026 legislative priorities. Sonny and I have been spending a significant amount of time on this, so kind of whittling it down to what's really important and here for your discussion, council. So right ahead, sir.
Well, good evening again. I do have a couple slides. You've seen them before. It's just the general legislative priorities process, looking at what's ahead of us. And of course, we have a strategic approach to addressing this. And the goal is to influence policy and legislative action all the way to the highest levels of government to make sense for what we have to deal with here at the local level. Next slide, please. This is a timeline. I know it's a lot of dots on a sheet, but basically looking at the 2026, 2027, or 25-26 biennium. 25 is almost over. The session stopped. It was a long session. It set the biennium budget. It was wildly successful from my vantage point. Our partners at Gordon Thomas Honeywell were fantastic in getting things going. Our presence in Olympia paid tremendous dividends, and the outcomes were really successful. And the work continues, it never ends. But so here we are looking in the fall of this year to set our priorities for the next session. Next session is a short session. It starts in January 2026. It ends in March. It's a 60-day session. They often call it a short session, and it's well suited for policy priorities. So when there's a budget that they're setting, that's a really great time to do capital budget priorities. But when a short session, there is no additional budget. There's some amendments that get made and some corrections, and sometimes there's additional revenues, which is great, but it's really a right time to focus on policy priorities. And the best time for us to set priorities is in the fall, because it gives us a chance to talk to our legislators before they gear up for the session. And so there's no surprises. We can educate them and share with them what our priorities are. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Defining our legislative priorities is a way to craft convincing messages that are prepared with credible and objective data, and that increase the knowledge and further understanding, so our champions in the legislature will know what it is we're trying to accomplish and work with us to accomplish that. And we want them to be able to take action and deliver outcomes. It's always beneficial when our priorities reflect things that are happening in the state and federal governments, the priorities that are set there. And so we kind of keep our ear to the ground and try to pay attention to what's happening in those venues, so that we can align our needs and get maximum results. Next slide, please. This is the Association of Washington Cities from their Strong Cities Advocacy Guide, and really is a year-round process. I've highlighted a few dates and times for when we fit in some of these things, but it's a full-time, full year-round circumstance. If we ever grow complacent, then it's like really just got to start all over. It's like going to the gym. If you maintain that practice, it's easier to stay in shape, but it's, for whatever reason, it's so easy to get out of shape, and then you got to start all over, the long, hard process. So just keep beating the drum is always good. We want to establish a working relationship with our legislators. We want to keep that going year round. We want to talk about the state of our budget, the constraints that we're facing, the issues that we have, and how we can address that with policy. We want to communicate strategically, so we give them good one-pagers. We're talking with the legislative aides throughout the year, making sure that there's no surprises, understanding how their processes work so we can help them do the homework and prepare them for success. We want to make the most of our interactions, so it's nice to rub elbows with them at different events around town, and always, just show face. And then we want to develop our city's legislative agenda, and we want to share it every which way, even with our community partners, so that they're aware of what our priorities are and they can help speak to that when the opportunity comes around. Next slide, please. So this is all of the partners that we have in legislation. You're all listed up there because you're the best opportunities for our local citizens to catch your ear and let you know where the hot spots are, so we can approach those issues. We've got our county commissioners, our state legislative delegation, and it's the 6th district. We also work a lot with our friends in the 9th district or the 4th district or the 3rd district, really all around Spokane County and Eastern Washington. And we've made some great partnerships. Mayor Cooper has made some great partnerships with the Wildfire Caucus that we were introduced to in this last session. And so it's joining together with like-minded communities and legislators to say, hey, what makes sense for these issues that we all share in? If we try to deal with them independently, it's not as effective as if we join forces and lend a lot more voices to that chorus. So, and then we have our federal delegation as well. And we have the bonus of working with our contract lobbyists at Gordon Thomas Honeywell. So all those things help. There is a staff briefing sheet in your agenda on page 4, and really just want to have a conversation where we're really starting to put together what the priorities are. There's a lot of things that we focus on, and we continue to carry the torch or the banner, and we want to keep having those conversations. But when it comes to legislative priorities, what we want to do is really get those singularly important items out, so that we can say, this is, if we couldn't succeed at anything else, this is what we want to succeed at. And so some of the things that we look forward to bringing back in this upcoming session. There was a lot of great work done on Senate Bill 5286, which was the statutory funding for the community policing program at Eastern State Hospital. Right now, they fund that on a biennium basis. There's a proviso, so it's good. It's funding to us to help provide that safety to the campus, but it might as well be statutory, because it's just, why hinge on it always being awarded. We did some great things, but we want to see that across the finish line. It got stalled in committee, didn't make it to the floor this last session, and so we've got a little more education to do, but I think it's primed well, and we look forward to seeing that cross the finish line. And then, like we mentioned in a short session, there's not usually a lot of capital funds available, but it's not uncommon to have for a municipality about a $300,000 request. And so what we've discussed last year, you probably recall, we had the priority of saying that we wanted to acquire Waterfront Park. And so there was $1.2 million in there, and it was discussing about the desires for Waterfront Park to have RV sites, full hookup RV sites, and create an overnight accommodation there to make the park, again, encouraging the good uses so the bad uses dissipate, and creating the revenues to sustain. And so we did get the transfer done, so no money needed to change hands, and we can get that transfer. We're soon to meet with our partners at DSHS to map out that process, and very much looking forward to it. But at the same time, looking at how we can keep that need in front of our legislators. And so it really fits well that we could get the engineering of the infrastructure, the upgrades that are required in order to provide that overnight accommodation of those full hookup RV sites and potentially cabins in Waterfront Park. And so that's where the price tag is. It lines up well, and it keeps that need for Waterfront Parks development in front of our legislators. And that's really what we have for those key items. Mayor, if you want to add anything to that.
I think the other thing, I was on the AWC, we were watching the same slide. I do sit on that board too, and so where are we alike in the AWC's agenda, legislative agenda? One thing that we're hearing across all counties and a lot of cities too are about the UGA. When those UGA boundaries were put in place, they were fixed, and this idea was they were fixed forever. They could never be moved. And then real life happens, and it doesn't fit in so many places. And so the statute already allows for what's called a UGA swap. And so, for instance, our UGA area to the north was put in fly zone, so you can't build there. The other UGA area was put far to the south, which is too far to get sewer and water there. And it's basically both locations are not viable building. Some of the UGA to the north, we can probably get an exception from Fairchild, but they haven't yet to produce the letter that they said it could happen somewhere. But anyway, along the way, there was a little bit of support for that. So we're looking to see if that can happen. The conversations across the state are kind of like this. There's unincorporated areas that are already built to density. So it's not the idea that you have this UGA off into Never Land where you're putting sewer and water out to places and creating these sprawl, right, or suburb. But this is actually getting services to those places that are already built to density that maybe need water, need to get those septics off of the lake or other things that are environmentally unfriendly. And so we're not the only ones having those conversations. And so I will be supporting that idea of that UGA swap and just the allowance for that and see what that might look like. But that was probably the only other thing that was on my mind. Was there anything else that we?
No, and I think obviously if there's something that is what you're hearing about that you would really like to see addressed, we're happy to add that to the list. I know, like I said, there's a lot of other things that we're continuing to champion. So last year we had disaster recovery on our legislative priority list, and we made some great strides, and we've seen some good people doing some good work. So we're not going to stop carrying that, but we've got this wildfire caucus is really carrying that message well. And so we can just support the good work that's happening there instead of having to carry that banner ourselves and try to drum up that support. So that alignment, we're still going to keep working on that. There's good work to be done and good people that are helping with that effort. The water and sewer for the West Shore of Silver Lake is still something that we're passionate about, but we're learning that process is something that requires really from the highest levels, from the federal government down. And so we'll continue to work that with different partners, but it's getting the initial seed money. And we're working with our partners at the county, with the federal delegation, to see how we can get that initial investment so that we can really see that project through. And once that starts, we think that there'll be a lot of different support from agencies that are going to be willing to play a part. But it's such a big thing that we really just have to get it started, and then we'll see all the pieces come together. So we'll continue to carry that forward too, but it's just, it's little conversations here and there, and we'll keep working to get that organized. And then, like Mayor Cooper said, the Association of Washington Cities has a lobbying element, and they always are listening. And we were on a webinar with them talking about what concerns are out there amongst the cities, and there's a lot of shared concerns, and they're continuing to hold those things up, and it's usually easy to align with what AWC has put forward. And then they're doing the good work of helping to talk to our legislators and inform them, educate them about those needs. And
Absolutely. Councilmember Pritchard?
Was part of that UGA discussion about being able to put sewer outside of your city property? I know
So you can't, so
Chesney
this,
has been had this issue.
if there is a UGA, if an area is within your UGA, it's not sewering outside of if you provide sewer. Right now, the only conversation we can really have is, can we provide water? And will that be allowed? And it is, that's by statute that it is allowed. The water, if we were to provide that to the West Shore, it does solve a lot of those concerns. It puts, with the water goes the loop roads, goes the hydrants, goes the underground utilities, goes the underground broadband for public safety notification, all those things they don't have. And so, but right now, to Sunny's point, this is a policy period. And so we're not talking about dollars, we're talking about policy. The UJ is a policy issue that, the policing budget, getting that in there is a policy issue. So that's what we're really working on. But while we're there, we're going to say, oh, and remember all those capital needs that we have. We're still on the forefront, but we understand you're poor right now, so we only need 300,000 to get already.
Well, yeah, I just noticed you can't put the sewer. That's a pretty serious issue for us.
It's pretty straightforward, and the county had been entangled in a lawsuit. There's been a lot of pushback about that. But once, if there were a UGA change, then you can have that conversation. And then it's about funding, who's providing that. And so.
Yeah, we're trying to be strategic in that sense, because the Growth Management Act is a monster. And it has all the right intent, but what's devoid in that Growth Management Act language is the notion that any area outside of an urban growth area would have been built to density. And so there is no understanding of that law that could allow for anything to be drawn inside of a UGA because it's already built to density. Like, it just doesn't recognize that there's any case like that. Yet there's cases all across the state of areas built to density outside of a UGA. So if we can get that change, then we can stop doing nothing because we can't provide sewer outside of the UGA. And that's like, I mean, if we were to talk about a UGA expansion, we would be troubled to include the West Shore of Silver Lake. We'd have to stop the line short of an area that's already built to density in the name of growth management, but it's already grown. Like, it just doesn't, there's no way for that language existing to understand that we're really doing the wise steward thing by including areas built to density inside of a growth area. It's not going to spur additional growth. It's just wrapping existing growth into the growth area so we can serve it better. And so that's, but it's big, and it's not likely to be something that's going to happen fast. But if we can start having those conversations and building coalitions to say, yeah, we're having that same issue, and there's got to be a better answer. So if we can't play by the playbook, maybe we need to change the rules.
That's good.
Anything else that on your mind, council, that we should be talking to legislature, that's other than what you already know? We've taken a pretty hefty list with us the last 3 years, and you know, we've been well received and made a lot of great friends there, and feel like we just continue to build those relationships. Thank you to the council members who've gone with us. Encourage the rest of you to come along. It really is quite an experience, and it makes a big difference when elected officials show up. You'd be surprised they do listen. And so they say, oh, okay, so Medical Lake's here and they got something to say. And so, yeah, so anyway, it's been fun. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. So, all right, well, thank you for that. Anything else you want to add to that, Sonny?
No, we'll just say like if sometimes my gears, like all my best questions and ideas happen after we adjourn. So just if there is something that comes up to you, feel free to share that to me. And we'll continue to work to perfect the narrative of these priorities so that we can put together a nice package that is easy to share. And as soon as we have that finalized, we'll bring it for you for actual adoption. And then from there, we can share it with the world.
Yeah, we are attempting to invite our legislators to come and show them our appreciation for all the great work they did for us sometime in October, trying to get that aligned. So if we can get our agenda aligned at the same time, we can thank them and say, and here's what we need this year. And maybe have them out, give them a tour of what's happened and a little meal and invite them to council. So we're going to try to put that together for October, just so you know, and probably bring that agenda forward at the same time, I imagine. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Financial policy update, meals and travel. I want to turn one whole page over to page 5.
Evening, Mayor and Council. We're here to talk meals and travel again. At the last meeting, we workshopped this same topic and got some great feedback from council that I believe made this policy, proposed policy even better. So there were a few additions. I'll go over them. So in section 1 under 1.2 compliance, I added in some additional language that helps staff locate where the per diem tables would be if they were to seek them out at the OFM website, as well as adding in a reference for the guidance from the Washington State auditors as well. And then in section 3.4.2 on page 9, there was some feedback on the determination of whether staff would choose airfare or driving to a location. So what that calculation would look like for staff to determine, is it more cost effective to drive or to fly? So there I included some of the items that well, it would be me would be calculating to determine if this is worth it to fly or drive. And so therefore, if we go up against that situation where we're looking at a distance of 400 miles or more, which is generally considered long distance by federal standards, then we would then be able to calculate it appropriately. And as Ms. Schaefer mentioned in the Finance Committee, we talked a little bit more about this policy, and there were a couple of suggestions made. One of which was to that section 3.4.2, adding in language that identifies 8 hours of travel. If it's estimated to be 8 hours, that we also take this into consideration, because sometimes, such as over on the other side of the state, if we're headed there, it may not be over 400 miles, but it could take a long time. So just taking that into account when we're making that decision. So I'd be happy to add something that addresses that. Additionally, it was brought up earlier in the section, so 3.4.1. So there have been some changes to airfare in general that have essentially created a lower than economy version of tickets that add a lot of restrictions, namely, not having assigned seating or guaranteed seating. And also basically you're the first to kick off the plane if they don't have enough room and you can't bring along any luggage. So there was some concern that just going with the cost effective doesn't result in the best option because sometimes those will be obviously lower, but it could result in some unfortunate circumstances where if we're sending an employee or elected official to travel and they get booted off the plane, we're going to have a lot more problems. So
agree.
just considering that in the determination. So adding something to the effect of to the end of that sentence, adding another sentence where so long as the lowest rate doesn't cause additional or unreasonable fees, delays, or not guarantee a seat. So something along those lines.
I do have a thought about that,
Sure.
also. In my years of government, it also helps if you book direct with the airline, so you can really get sideways booking. Oh, the cheapest one is through these third party
Sure.
BDN,
Yep.
crazy stuff. Then you can't get your money back, you get a credit, and then you get, it's just nuts. So I think booking direct is really important. And then I used to require my employees to also pay the extra like $17 to get the guaranteed cancellation because our lives are busy and things can happen, and so being able to cancel without penalty, and it only costs you like $17. But if you don't pay that in travel insurance, but I'd like to see that included, that the city would pay for that because it really does make sure we get our money back if we're sick that day and can't go.
I would agree. I think that makes us better stewards.
Yeah, the other thing under 3.4.2, if we could add a little note there that once we've followed all of that and determined which one, what's the minimum cost flying or driving,
Sure.
leaving it for the employee can elect either, so they can choose to do either, but they would be paid the minimum amount,
Sure.
so
the
whichever was the lower of the two, so they could say.
Yeah, so the
if it's
mileage
less,
would be
it's
limited
airfare.
to.
And this was a common practice that I applied when I was a manager. But anyway, it's just that it costs less to fly. Sometimes it is to drive, but somebody wants to drive, and so you just give them that cost of what it was to fly, and the rest is on them. And that just makes it very easy. Then you're not forcing people to fly. Maybe are terrified of flying, and there's.
Yeah.
Life happens, or I have to take my dog, and anyway, it's just all this stuff. It eliminates that they get to choose, and then there's some max amount that.
No, I think that's an excellent recommendation. I know some staff that would hate us if we told them to fly,
It's true.
especially over water.
I'm one of those people. Yeah,
Okay.
the little cushion is not going to save you. I don't care what happens. So. Okay. Anything other changes that you made there, or any other suggestions from the committee?
We talked about luxury accommodations, just like if you had to pay for like the standard economy and not the sub economy, we would not classify that as like a luxury accommodation. That would just be the most reasonable because you wouldn't incur extra fees or you know what I mean.
And booking direct is again.
Yeah.
In all cases, is the best
Mhm.
best policy.
Yeah, I would encourage that for hotel rooms too. Book
Right.
it directly.
I think if you give the finance director authority to approve, they can determine is this luxury, is it not luxury,
Yeah.
so here's my plan, here's my, itinerary for the conference, here's my, cost to drive, cost to fly, here's the hotel, that the conference says this is where it's at or whatever, submit that to you. That's gonna give you the discretion to say, I know we're not paying $400 a night for a hotel, how about next week? Like what,
Let's
or
find
whatever.
somewhere
you know.
that's under construction. Right?
So
We talked about that, yeah.
it happens, so
Yeah. No, I would agree.
you had a suite. So not that it would happen, and not our folks don't even travel that much, but when we do, it's important to have a policy. I think that's
Try to anticipate the circumstances so
Yeah.
we can have good
Yeah.
governing policy.
and make it as reasonable as possible, but still good controls there to keep the auditor happy.
So do we feel there's any additional language otherwise, other than what was mentioned? Or As if it pleases council, I'll take this back to resolution in the next meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cost. Excellent work on that, and continued policy work is just so important. Action items, we have a consent agenda to approve the August 5, 2025 minutes. Any changes or corrections, additions to the August 5 minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any approved? Any approved? Any opposed? I looked at the word approved just as I said that. Oh, goodness. Approval of August 19, 2025 payroll claims and warrants. Numbers 52809 through 52816, and the payroll payable warrants number 30257 through 30270 in the amount of $191,662.07. And claim warrants numbered 52817 through 52874 in the amount of $351,643.24.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, council. No public hearing resolutions. Moving to resolution 25763. This is the year 2 periodic update grant agreement. It's been before you prior. It's for that second year. Mr. Weathers, give us a little brief on that one.
You bet. Page 34 of your packets where this briefing sheet begins. So again, we did have conversations previously around grants related to the periodic update of our comprehensive plan. Really started with resolution 24665. There's $100,000 grant for climate resiliency. That is what paid for our hazard mitigation plan and our communications plan, which give us actionable plans on the one hand, but also give us information that we can use to inform our periodic update for the climate resiliency requirements associated with that. And then last year, resolution 24710 authorized the $62,500 for year 1. Some of those scope of work items was our periodic update work plan, our public participation plan. We did the periodic update checklist, did a land capacity analysis, a critical areas checklist, and we started working on our transportation plan. And you'll probably recall that we did get 100% of those funds reimbursed. We delivered all of those things on schedule. And so now we're entering into year 2. Year 2 is the deliverables associated with year 2 are found on page 48 of your packets. The scope of work that we're proposing is a public participation report. So take that plan and we talk about what we did and how it worked out. And then the draft plan elements, including land use, parks and recreation, economic development, transportation, which we have Ardura as a consultant helping us with that transportation plan, capital facilities, utilities, and housing. So other than the transportation piece, this grant will really reimburse us for the staff time associated with preparing those draft elements. And it's $62,500. And is that right? Or it's a little bit
That was
less.
less.
They delayed a little bit of the dollars because of the wonderful budget circumstance we are in at the state. So there'll be, and they extended 6 months, the delivery by 6 months. So it's not due until December 31st of 2026. It was originally due June 30th. And so that extra 6 months is where the last portion, so that'll be the final portion of a grant agreement. So this grant agreement is
Let's see, 40,620.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm happy to address any questions that you may have.
There's a company that did the solar panels at the wastewater treatment plant that's doing a capital facilities like plan. Is that correct?
Correct. It's yeah, and it helps us to inform our capital facilities plan. So they're doing an investment grade audit on
Yes.
some of our capital facilities. Yes. Yep. And what's great about that is it looks at the needs of the facilities and finds the most efficiency related projects we can do that will help pay for itself and then they help seek grant funds and everything as well.
Do they have an idea? Is that report happening before June 12th, 2026?
Well, with council approval, it very well fit. We've been working with them. Yeah, and so in the process right now, they've given us some financial improvement measures that we've reviewed. It's a long list of where they think opportunities are. Some of the price tags seem like, yeah, that would be great, but I don't know that we could afford that if we got stuck with the price tag. And so finding the right mix of what we think is really actionable at this time, bringing that forward into an investment grade audit agreement with them. And that would require approval of council. So you'll be well engaged and informed prior to that. But that is in work right now. They're really just finalizing the last pieces to bring forward a proposed investment grade audit. And I anticipate that we'll bring that to you in around the October timeframe, not earlier.
It'll be workshopped and we'll have a
Okay, yeah.
opportunity to see, you know, what it costs us to get in, what are the sunk costs, and then, you know, once the grant funds are done, you know, the solar array project, perfect example. It's already paying for itself, so. Yeah, we'll, look forward to finding some more of those opportunities. So.
And similarly, our capital improvement plan, which we update every year, is another part of that really helps to identify these are the facilities that we're responsible for. These are the things that we know we need to pay attention to, which is why that capital facilities plan is part of the comprehensive plan, to really identify what's in the future and how are you going to fund it. And we'll be talking about that in the near future as well. And with the budget retreat, most likely, always a great chance with council to review the capital improvement plan in great detail and discuss what staff has come up with that's identifying those needs and funding sources.
Any other questions? I'm gonna entertain a motion.
Move to approve the grant, second year.
Second.
Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so resolution 25-763, year two periodic update grant agreement passes. Going to resolution 25-764, CM Water Care Service Program Agreement. It's for the care and feeding of our water aerators that we love, our beloved water aerators who, as you said, what did I miss?
Sorry, you said care and feeding. What are we
Yes.
feeding them?
Water and all the bad stuff that it's, you know, taken care of. But I was to Dr. Pritchard's point earlier that since we've added the other two aerators, which 5 is what was recommended to for the rehabilitation of the lake to properly do that. So use those ARPA dollars to, you know, first thing off the list was to get those 2 additional aerators in there, and now both the pH and the other bad things are now much lower. So anyway, I couldn't remember. I know the pH, what was the other element?
Well, we used to look at like the nutrients, yeah,
Oh, the
nitrogen,
nutrients.
phosphorus, it's more like the bacteria.
Oh, the
blooms, things
phosphorus,
like that,
sure.
but attack the phosphorus limiting, so it keeps it cycling.
Yeah,
So it's-
so we're happy that the lake is happy, but anyways, and that's what's before you is resolution 25-764. So Sonia was going to add to that.
Well, just, this is a service agreement for those pumps, and they come out and check each one of the pumps to make sure they're operating properly. If there's any service that needs to happen, they take care of that service during that time. And just for reference, I think a few years back, it was $17,500 for that annual service. Last year, it was $19,500. And so when they gave us the service agreement to consider this year, one of the options was a 3-year option at a locked-in price of $20,500. Seeing the escalating prices over the past, staff's recommendation is that we enter that 3-year agreement
Yeah.
with that locked in price, which and these pumps are doing an amazing job of keeping our lake water quality and keeping it healthy. And so that's the recommendation.
And is that usually timed when, like in the ice, when the ice starts to melt, there's like a great migration? Sometimes it'll pick up the aerators or the circulators and move them. And is that timed at the same time because they can tow them back?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's yeah.
They relocate them and
Put
yeah,
them where
get
they're-
it back in the sweet spot, if you will, right?
And then I noticed on here, there's this optional add-on that they just tack them on there. For us, hopefully,
The water
is that like
quality
the,
testing.
is that like the undercoating?
And that I don't think we would actually do because we do the water quality
Okay.
testing in-house. The geo walks every time they'll take samples and we do water quality testing. So we've got the tools and mechanisms to take care of that. So we wouldn't need that expense.
Well, I'd move to approve resolution 25-764.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Resolution 25-764 passes. Added to the agenda tonight, resolution 25-765. This is a bid award for the FEMA paving. Also will tell you about all of his work that he's done. 2 years, he'll tell you it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years, we've been dealing, year and a half, we've been dealing with FEMA. He won the arm wrestling competition with FEMA, and so here we go.
It was a long one. I'm exhausted. No, so what we have here, obviously, there was a lot of damages caused by the firefighting efforts in the South Lake Terrace, as well as the recovery efforts, all of the heavy machinery. I'm sure most of you have seen the damages that have been caused down there. So it's just been a near 2-year battle of convincing FEMA that those damages are well worth repairing, how we're going to repair them back to normal, and what costs are appropriate for that. And so also included, you may notice, is the Francher Road. So that's the road right above Waterfront Park, or below technically. And so essentially that area was a housing area for all of the debris and the trees and all of the heavy machinery going through that area caused significant damages. So we've gotten that approved as well. So what we have here is we went to bid. We submitted on July 24th, 2025, to get some proposals for that work for those 2 different projects combined to one. And we received 3 responsive bids, and Shamrock was the lowest at $606,000. This was approximately $25,000 above what we had estimated, so it was actually a pretty good bid that we got from them, not too far off what FEMA thought it cost and what we thought it would cost. So we were happy with that figure. This is so FEMA pays 75% of the work that's done. They reimburse us for 75% of everything that they approve. And so then they submit 12.5% of that to the state for reimbursement. And then we also have spoken with the legislators about that other 12.5% that the city would normally bear in a situation like this. And similar to when we received the $187,000 through the Department of Commerce for the reimbursements of the Cannon Hill tree removals in our wetlands. Similarly, we've heard that they are willing to cover any additional expenses that we've incurred to make us right. So as of right now, this is for 75% of the total project, and we'll pursue the remaining 25 through the state.
Any questions about that process or what we're heading into? Okay.
What's the timeline?
Well, we're trying to get it done before the asphalt plants close in November. So ultimately, we would get this done by the end of October.
Oh, okay, not that quick.
Council has a,
Oh,
Yeah, with FEMA dollars and projects, one of the major aspects is making sure you do the analysis and the bid process, and everything is very thorough. And that's the alarm bells that I
yes,
see when FEMA is redoing all the due diligence and analysis. That seems to have been met and exceeded, so.
Thank you.
All credit for that goes to Tom, our engineer,
Yeah.
performed that, does a great job, so,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out though, because it is critically important. We get all of that right on the front end. Absolutely, but costs, just your diligence in seeing this through. It would have been easy to say, oh, but they're never gonna pay, but you really hung in there.
Yeah.
And not only this, but the generators too, and so it really is helping us build back better than we were, so appreciate that. So-
All credit Sunny on the generators, because I think he put in a lot more sweat than I did, but I fought them a lot over some trees, so.
Okay, thank you. But anything further? I think we have a motion and a second on the table.
Move to approve resolution 25-765.
We do now.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. That. Shamrock notified. No ordinances, no executive session or emergency ordinances that I know of. Any upcoming agenda items, nothing noted there, please reach out to. Mr. Weathers, if you have anything there, last opportunity then for interested citizen comment. Anyone online or in the room have a interested citizen comment? Okay. Last call, hearing none.
I will move to conclude.
Is there anything you want to leave us with before we go?
I'm sorry, was there a question after the motion?
No.
Okay,
Yes, no, to the.
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
meeting concluded.